Every so often, a machine arrives that seems to rewrite the rules. Not just for drivers, but for an entire industry watching in disbelief. It is more than a product of its era. It becomes the statement of a people, a leap of imagination made tangible on four wheels. It tells a story about risk and reinvention, about daring to look forward when everyone else is looking back. Some vehicles simply move through history. Others alter its course entirely. What happens when design, science, and national identity collide in a single piece of engineering brilliance? That is where this story begins, with one of the most audacious creations ever to roll onto European roads and challenge the world to catch up. If you enjoy deep dives into machines that changed everything, remember to like, subscribe, and comment which automotive revolution we should explore next. In 1956, the Citroen DS19 appeared like a vision from another world. A car that seemed to hover rather than roll, reshaping expectations of what a vehicle could be. Its name, derived from the French word for goddess, fit perfectly with its futuristic presence. Sleek, fluid lines sculpted to slice through air and convention alike. The DS19 was born in an era when France was rebuilding, searching for symbols of progress and confidence after years of hardship. Citroen, already known for its bold engineering, wanted to create not just a successor to its pre-war models but a total redefinition of automotive experience. The team behind it, led by engineer André Lefebvre and sculptor-turned-designer Flaminio Bertoni, envisioned something that would merge art, aerodynamics, and cutting-edge mechanics into a single, seamless form. The result was not an evolution. It was a revolution. Every surface of the Citroen DS19 served a purpose. The aerodynamic body was not just for beauty but for efficiency, reducing drag and improving stability at speeds uncommon for its time. The car's stance, low and wide, created an almost animal-like poise, as if ready to leap forward even at rest. Underneath, the real breakthrough waited, a hydro-pneumatic suspension system that replaced traditional steel springs with a self-leveling, pressurized fluid mechanism. This meant that the DS19 could glide over rough roads that left other cars bouncing and rattling. Drivers described it as riding on air. The system automatically adjusted height and firmness, offering unmatched comfort and control. It was the kind of technology that looked like magic but was rooted in complex physics and fearless experimentation. Citroen's engineers were not simply adding features. They were rethinking how a car should behave. The DS19 suspension linked to its brakes and steering, all powered by a shared hydraulic system. Pressing the brake pedal activated an instantly responsive hydraulic circuit, allowing gentle pressure to translate into confident stopping power. Steering became nearly effortless thanks to hydraulic assistance, a novelty in the mid-1950s. Together, these systems worked as an ecosystem. If one element adjusted, the others compensated. This holistic approach turned driving into a smooth, almost cinematic experience, where the road seemed to fade beneath the car rather than push against it. The styling matched the innovation beneath. Bertoni, who once sculpted statues before designing automobiles, approached the DS19 as if shaping motion itself. He drew inspiration from aviation, streamlining the body to achieve both function and fantasy. The front end tapered like the nose of an aircraft, while the rear fenders enclosed the wheels for better airflow. Even the headlights, set into the fenders, gave the DS an expressive, almost human face. Inside, the dashboard felt like the cockpit of a futuristic craft, with a single-spoke steering wheel that hinted at minimalist confidence. Everything about the DS19 told drivers they were participating in the future, not chasing it. When Citroën unveiled the DS19 at the 1955 Paris Motor Show, the reaction bordered on hysteria. Crowds surrounded the stand. Thousands placed deposits within hours. Newspapers described scenes of traffic chaos as people rushed to see it. In an age where most cars were boxy and predictable, this machine looked like it had arrived from another century. For a country that prized innovation as a cultural virtue, the DS19 became a symbol of pride, intellect, and artistry. It was not merely transportation. It was an idea given form, a demonstration that technology could also inspire emotion. Yet behind the admiration lay a mountain of challenges. Producing the DS19 was a logistical labyrinth. Its hydraulic systems demanded precision far beyond conventional manufacturing tolerances. Early units suffered reliability issues. Fluid leaks, mechanical quirks, and finicky maintenance tested both patience and engineering resolve. Dealers scrambled to train mechanics who could understand its complex anatomy. Still, Citroen refused to compromise the vision. For every obstacle, the company offered refinement, slowly building the DS19's reputation not just as a novelty but as a dependable icon of progress. Driving one was an experience unlike anything else. You entered a cabin that felt airy and futuristic, the suspension adjusting its height automatically as the engine started. On the road, potholes seemed to disappear, the car floating serenely while maintaining impeccable stability. Braking felt intuitive. The system responded instantly, with no wasted motion. Steering was feather-light yet precise, letting drivers maneuver with grace rather than effort. It was a masterclass in how engineering could elevate comfort without sacrificing control. The DS19 seemed alive, its mechanics adapting moment by moment to the environment. The car's aerodynamic design also made it faster and more fuel-efficient than many contemporaries. With a modest engine by modern standards, it still managed impressive performance because of its low drag and intelligent weight distribution. Everything was calculated. Even the placement of components contributed to balance and smoothness. Citroen's engineers had effectively built a dynamic sculpture, where every detail had both purpose and poetry. The DS19 was not just about motion. It was about emotion, about how it made you feel to glide instead of grind. Public perception evolved from shock to reverence. The DS19 began appearing in films, art, and literature as shorthand for sophistication and futurism. Owning one signaled taste and intellect. It meant believing in progress when others clung to tradition. Politicians, architects, and intellectuals adopted it as their car of choice. It embodied the optimism of mid-century France, standing proudly as a counterpoint to industrial conformity. The DS19 wasn't just built to be different. It was built to remind people that difference was valuable. Its success, however, came at a curious moment in automotive history. Around the world, manufacturers were standardizing designs, focusing on production efficiency rather than artistic individuality. Against that backdrop, the DS19 looked almost defiant. It refused to blend in, to flatten its identity for convenience. This defiance became its defining trait and its challenge. To remain ahead of its time, even when the world wanted to slow it down. As the years passed, the DS19's reputation would solidify not only as a car of beauty but as a living manifesto for what happens when creativity meets courage. As the Citroen DS19 settled into public life, the conversation shifted from spectacle to substance. What truly made it remarkable was not just how it looked, but how it thought. The car's systems interacted like a living network. Hydraulics powered everything from suspension to steering to brakes, an integrated approach that most automakers would take decades to replicate. When you drove a DS19, you were not merely controlling a vehicle. You were commanding a coordinated mechanical intelligence that adjusted in real time. It predicted road changes, absorbed shocks before you felt them, and kept balance even under heavy load. For 1956, that level of engineering foresight was astonishing. The hydro-pneumatic suspension became the DS19's most famous feature, but it was also its most misunderstood. Many assumed the floating sensation meant softness, yet it was anything but vague. The system balanced comfort with precision, allowing the car to corner flat and stable while isolating occupants from imperfections below. It used compressed nitrogen in sealed spheres and hydraulic fluid in connected circuits to create constant pressure. When the road dipped, the car rose to meet it. When it swelled, the car lowered itself to stay composed. Engineers described it as a self-leveling organism. Owners described it as magic. Both were right, in different ways. Citroen's philosophy behind this innovation was rooted in accessibility. The company wanted to make advanced engineering available to ordinary people, not just racing teams or luxury buyers. This was a family car that carried the same spirit of experimentation as an aircraft prototype. Every decision followed the same logic. Simplify the experience for the driver by complicating the mechanisms beneath. What others saw as complexity, Citroën saw as liberation from compromise. In that sense, the DS19 was less a car and more a statement on human ingenuity. Proof that design could democratize comfort without diluting ambition. The DS19 also introduced a new kind of relationship between driver and machine. Traditional vehicles required physical negotiation. Muscle for steering, finesse for braking. The Citroen replaced effort with intuition. Small movements achieved big results. Minimal inputs delivered maximum response. The hydraulic brake pedal, a tiny rubber mushroom, offered instantaneous power distribution. Steering could be managed with fingertips, yet it communicated every subtle change in surface texture. For drivers, it felt like control had evolved from a struggle into a conversation. This was not just mechanical progress. It was emotional engineering. Inside, the experience continued to challenge conventions. The Citroen DS19 single-spoke steering wheel symbolized purity of design, removing clutter while providing full visibility of the dashboard. The cabin layout was asymmetrical, intentionally designed for ergonomic efficiency. The seats were plush yet supportive, covered in fabrics that balanced luxury with practicality. Even the ventilation system was engineered to maintain consistent comfort throughout the cabin, a rarity at the time. Every inch reflected the designer's obsession with harmony, between form and function, between logic and emotion. The technology, however, demanded trust. Early adopters had to believe in something unfamiliar. The hydraulic system's whirring noises, the slow lift of the suspension after startup, the unconventional control feel, it all required faith. Those who gave it discovered an experience unlike any other. Those who hesitated missed a glimpse of the automotive future. Over time, the DS19 earned a reputation not only for innovation but for reliability once its engineering matured. Owners learned that care and understanding turned the complex into the consistent. The car rewarded patience with loyalty. Cultural impact grew alongside technical acclaim. The Citroën DS19 became a visual shorthand for modern France, appearing in films, political rallies, and advertisements as a symbol of sophistication. It represented confidence without arrogance, artistry without excess. When Charles de Gaulle chose the DS for official transport, it elevated from mere vehicle to national icon. Its role in saving him during an assassination attempt, where its stability and traction allowed an escape under gunfire, only deepened its myth. For many, the DS19 became proof that elegance and resilience could coexist. Citroën's engineers continued refining the platform throughout its production life. Each year brought improvements. More powerful engines, refined hydraulics, better electrical systems. The car evolved while staying true to its original philosophy. The DS19 served as a testbed for ideas that would influence generations of vehicles. Automatic leveling systems, power-assisted steering, and aerodynamic efficiency as standard priorities. Even when rivals introduced competing models, none matched its total integration of technology and design. It was not the fastest or the most powerful car of its era, but it was the most intelligent. The DS19's arrival also redefined how consumers perceived luxury. Before it, comfort and innovation were often separate concepts. Luxury was about materials, not mechanics. The Citroën changed that equation, proving that true luxury could come from intelligence and experience rather than excess. Its soft ride, silent cabin, and effortless control set new benchmarks for refinement. Future automakers would borrow heavily from this lesson, though few acknowledged the origin. The DS19's DNA seeped quietly into the mainstream, shaping the expectations of modern comfort and safety without fanfare. Over time, its aesthetics influenced more than cars. Architects admired its clean, flowing lines. Fashion designers borrowed its sense of movement and proportion. The DS19 became part of a broader cultural language that celebrated modernism as optimism. It reminded people that technology could be beautiful, that progress could have soul. Even today, when parked beside contemporary vehicles, the DS19 looks timeless rather than dated. Its surfaces catch light in ways that still feel futuristic, a testament to how ahead of its time it truly was. From an engineering perspective, maintaining such balance between art and science was nearly impossible. Yet Citroën's approach to problem-solving, testing, refining, reimagining, made it possible. They were not chasing trends but principles. Function-led design, but design elevated function. The DS19 was an industrial symphony where every component played its part in harmony. This philosophy would later inspire entire generations of designers who saw in the DS not nostalgia, but a roadmap for innovation. Looking back, the Citroën DS19 stands as both a product and a prophecy. It demonstrated that technology could feel human, that innovation could be emotional, It challenged competitors to think differently and invited the public to expect more from their machines. Its blend of comfort, safety, and style laid the groundwork for the modern automobile as we know it. The DS19 was not just a chapter in Citroen's story. It was the page on which the rest of the industry would eventually write. By the time the Citroen DS19 reached its later years, its legacy was already secure. What had started as a daring experiment had matured into a symbol of possibility. Yet even as its influence spread, the DS19 remained stubbornly unique. It was never fully imitated because it could not be simplified. The car's hydropneumatic heart and sculptural body were so intertwined that removing one would undo the other. It was a reminder that true innovation often resists replication. As technology advanced through the 1960s, many automakers began catching up to ideas the DS19 had already normalized. Power steering, disc brakes, and aerodynamic efficiency became industry standards, but Citroën had offered them from the start. The difference lay in integration. While others added features piece by piece, the DS19 had been engineered as a complete organism. It did not just perform tasks, it performed them in concert. That holistic thinking inspired later generations of designers who saw vehicles not as collections of systems, but as living networks of interaction. The car's enduring fame was cemented not by nostalgia, but by continued relevance. Decades after its debut, automotive journalists still rank the DS19 among the most influential cars ever made. Restoration enthusiasts treated it like fine art, preserving its details with reverence. Even modern engineers studying suspension design referenced its principles, acknowledging how little improvement time had offered on its foundational logic. The DS19 had reached that rare level of perfection where its innovation outlived its production line. Culturally, the Citroën DS19 became shorthand for intelligence and individuality. It appeared in films as the vehicle of choice for visionaries and nonconformists. Its silhouette became iconic, instantly recognizable even in silhouette sketches or minimalist art. Beyond aesthetics, it represented an attitude, the belief that progress should be both functional and poetic. When most companies streamlined for efficiency, the DS19 championed elegance through precision. It spoke to people who valued craftsmanship not as luxury, but as expression. Technically, Citroën continued developing the DS platform, introducing improved models and new variants, but the essence of the original DS19 never faded. The car's hydropneumatic suspension evolved into advanced self-leveling systems that would later influence everything from executive sedans to modern SUVs. Its aerodynamic body inspired wind tunnel experiments that shaped entire design languages. Even its dashboard layout hinted at future digital minimalism, prioritizing clarity and simplicity over clutter. In each case, the DS19's DNA quietly echoed through the decades, invisible yet unmistakable. For France, the DS19 became a national treasure. It embodied the country's confidence in art and engineering as intertwined disciplines. When parked in front of Parisian cafes or gliding along rural roads, it looked perfectly at home, both futuristic and deeply French. It was not just a car people owned, it was a car they admired, even if they never drove one. That emotional connection became part of its legend. Few vehicles have ever captured imagination and identity so completely. From a business standpoint, the DS19 was both triumph and challenge. Its sophistication made it expensive to build, and Citroën's relentless pursuit of perfection sometimes strained resources. Yet the brand's decision to prioritize innovation over profit turned the DS19 into a marketing engine of its own. It projected an image of intelligence, modernity, and national pride that no advertisement could replicate. For every customer who bought one, thousands were inspired by it. That intangible value kept Citroën at the center of automotive conversation for years. Collectors today view the DS19 as more than a vintage car. It is a milestone in human-centered engineering. Owning one is like possessing a working piece of design history. Restored examples demonstrate how durable its ideas were. Even 60 years later, its ride quality and handling can rival contemporary cars. This longevity is not accidental. It is the result of foresight. Citroën's engineers built for the future, not the moment. They anticipated needs before drivers could articulate them. That is why, even in today's world of digital interfaces and electric propulsion, the DS19 still feels visionary. The car's influence reaches beyond mechanics and design. It shifted expectations about national innovation. At a time when global prestige often came from heavy industry or military power, the DS19 proved that cultural and technological leadership could come from imagination. It turned French creativity into a tangible export, admired across borders. Other manufacturers began paying attention not only to performance, but to how a car made people feel. The emotional dimension of design, now considered essential in modern branding, can trace its mainstream acceptance back to this very model. As the DS19's production wound down, its final iterations refined every aspect of the original vision. The innovations had become more reliable, the interiors richer, the performance smoother. Yet Citroen resisted turning the DS19 into something ordinary. Even in its twilight years, it retained its signature magic. The way it rose gracefully on startup, the way it floated through corners, the way its shape seemed to belong equally to road and dream. Ending its production did not feel like closing a chapter. It felt like sealing a masterpiece. In retrospect, the DS19 anticipated many themes that define the 21st century car. Intelligent systems that adapt to drivers. Suspension that communicates with sensors. Design that fuses minimalism with emotion. Sustainability through efficiency rather than excess. Each of these ideas had a prototype in the DS19's philosophy. What modern automakers call user experience, Citroen's engineers were already practicing in 1956, without digital tools or algorithms. Only vision, precision, and courage. The true measure of a breakthrough is not how it shocks in its time, but how it endures in memory. The Citroen DS19 endures because it made innovation feel natural, not forced. It invited people to expect more from machines without intimidating them. Its quiet confidence, its balance of grace and strength, continues to inspire those who see cars not just as transportation but as art in motion. In every sense that matters, the DS19 still drives. The Citroen DS19's legacy is a lesson in how imagination can become industry. Long after production ended, its fingerprints appeared everywhere. In the suspension logic of luxury sedans, in the sculpted minimalism of modern dashboards, in the idea that a car could think for its passengers. It proved that progress need not be loud. It can glide, whispering innovation through experience rather than proclamation. The DS19 stands as evidence that technology and elegance are not opposites, but partners when guided by courage. For designers, it remains an unmatched case study in holistic thinking. Its body and mechanics were not separate projects stitched together. They were born of the same idea. That unity is what modern engineers call systems design, but Citroën practiced it decades before the term existed. The DS19 embodied empathy in metal form. Every detail considered how humans would feel, move, and trust inside it. Even the smallest choices, like the softening of light across the curved hood or the calming cadence of its suspension, served emotional function as much as mechanical need. Historians often call the Citroën DS19 the car that made the world look forward again. In the gray post-war years, it represented optimism not through luxury, but through invention. It reminded an uncertain generation that the future could be graceful. Its form rejected aggression. Its ride replaced fatigue with ease. That humanistic approach set it apart from the competition, showing that progress could uplift rather than intimidate. In doing so, it changed how societies viewed technology itself. Even now, when electric vehicles and autonomous systems dominate discussion, the DS19 feels relevant. It predicted a philosophy that cars should adapt to people, not the other way around. Its self-leveling suspension was an analog ancestor to today's adaptive systems. Its aerodynamic purity anticipated efficiency long before it was a regulatory necessity. Its emphasis on serenity predicted the quiet, smooth character that defines modern EVs. The DS19's DNA runs through the automotive future because it always belonged there. Collectors and museums guard surviving examples as rolling sculptures. Restorers speak of its engineering with a mix of awe and respect, aware that they are maintaining more than machinery. They are preserving philosophy. Each functioning DS19 today carries a lineage of innovation that shaped industries far beyond its category. Architects study its proportions. Product designers emulate its user-centric flow. The DS19 proved that simplicity born from complexity is the highest form of design. a truth that still guides creative disciplines worldwide. In the end, the Citroen DS19 is not remembered for its horsepower or speed, but for its mind. It asked questions few dared to ask, and offered answers the world would take decades to understand. It captured the moment when art met science and refused to part ways. The DS19 was not content to move people. It wanted to move ideas. That is why it continues to resonate. Because it is more than a car. It is a reminder that vision, when pursued without compromise, becomes timeless. The story of the DS19 is the story of innovation itself. Risky, misunderstood, yet unstoppable once it proves its worth. From the first gasp of the Paris Motor Show crowd to the admiration it still commands today, it has carried one consistent message. True progress is an act of faith. Citroën dared to build what others only imagined, and the result transcended every measure of success. The DS19 remains a monument to curiosity and courage, still teaching us that the best way to predict the future is to design it.